Hey guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Today we're going to do a video about living longer in the Philippines. You know, it's kind of funny, but one of the things that I noticed after being here for a while was most of the expats were dying right around the same age that most Filipinos die, which is right around 72 years old, somewhere around there. And it's just something I picked up and watched. I watched a lot of my friends pass away. As soon as they hit that 72 mark, boom, it's like they click off right at that age. Not to say some people don't live longer, they do. But here's the thing. The second you get off that plane, here's the problem. Mosquitoes. Hep B. There's all kinds of STDs. There's all kinds of like food issues here. Foodborne illness. Diet. The heat. There's like a multitude of issues that all kind of mix together. But most of it is the diet here. The diet, a lot of the Filipinos over here, they die from strokes. They have high blood pressure, more so than back in the U.S. They also have a lot of diabetes because of the rice diet. There's a whole bunch of issues. Hep B, you throw that in there, 16.7% of the people over here have hepatitis B, you know, in their systems. So I mean, with all that said and all that mixed in, it just makes for a bad thing. It's just not good. So one of the ways you can change that is to get vaccinated against hepatitis B. Beware of mosquitoes, things like that. One of the problems I had when I got here was mosquitoes. I don't have that many mosquitoes in my place, in my area. But one of the problems is this. After a while, even though I'd get just a couple bites, they would start sticking around. Like they'd stay there for like a year or more. The bites would stay there, and that's when I found out I had cellulitis from the mosquitoes. They got infected, and it caused like a blood illness, and I started getting like red bumps all over me. Next thing you know, it was going up into my back, all over my legs, my arms. It was even going into the tips of my fingers. I was getting like red marks, red round circles, and they'd get like a white spot in the middle. And come to find out later on, I found out it was all cellulitis. Now, cellulitis can kill you because of sepsis and stuff like that. But the other problem here is this, and this is the biggest one, that if you want to live long in the Philippines, okay, it's not just about your diet, but it's going to get you checkups like twice a year or something like that. Have your sugar checked, your cholesterol, all that stuff. Make sure that you're doing really good, you know, and try to eat well. Now, I'm not the best on my diet, I'll admit that. You know what I mean? I try to do the best I can. I'm trying to change my diet little by little. And also I do try to exercise as much as I can, but I do have problems with my legs too. So that kind of rules out like a lot of, like me becoming a marathon runner or something like that. But I do try to walk as much as I can because it does help my sciatica and some other issues that I have in my arthritis too. I try to walk as much as I can, but some days I can't walk at all. I have too much pain in my leg or whatever, and I just can't, you know, walk. Now, if I take my pain medicine, I can. But here's the problem over here is this. If you don't live near a hospital and you have a stroke or a heart attack, you're pretty much doomed over here if you're living in the provinces. A lot of the older guys, they choose to live in the provinces and think that, oh, you know what, I'm going to go live here in the provinces. I'll be fine. You know, I'll be eating healthy out here. I'll be eating vegetables and all that stuff. I'll be, you know, I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And that's the part that people, they play into that thing like my diet's going to save me. And that's not always true. You actually need to be near a hospital sometimes because God forbid you get sick. You get kidney stones. You have a stroke or a heart attack or whatever. You know, what are you going to do? What do you do if you're out in the provinces and you're 2 hours away from the nearest decent hospital? You're just near like a small medical center and they can't do anything for you. A lot of these small medical centers, they don't even have a defibrillator. Some of the hospitals don't have a defibrillator. You know, so keep that in mind. When a hospital doesn't have a defibrillator, what kind of hospital is it? It's you know, some of the clinics over here are just basically that. They're a clinic. They have a couple of doctors working in there. They don't really have much for you to do anything to save you if you're having a heart attack. You know, they just don't have it. They don't have that technology around here. So you need to be around a decent upper class type hospital, like a really top-notch hospital, you know, and those are the places you need to be within, I would say within an hour, 45 minutes. You know, and also you want to make sure that you have transportation ready to roll. God forbid you have a heart attack, because Some of these towns don't have ambulances, and sometimes they're being used, and it might only have one ambulance in the whole town, and it's being used. So what are you going to do? You have to have somebody available on call, or have several people. Have 3 phone numbers that your girlfriend can call. God forbid you have a stroke or a heart attack, or something happens to you, you have a fall or something like that. Because some of you guys that are coming over here are older, and you have to account that at some point in your life, you're going to get to the point where you're going to start falling down. You're going to start having heart attacks. You might feel like $1 million today on the flight over here, but 2 years from now, you might not feel that same way. And granted, the girls are going to take care of you, but a lot of you guys are looking at these younger girls, and some of these younger girls take off on you. So make sure you have somebody that's reliable as a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, because you're going to need it. You're going to need it, And you can always hire. Some of you guys have, really good income coming in. I've heard some people coming over here, they're getting $7,000 to $9,000 income per month or something like that. You can live like a king over here. You could have a nurse living in your home if you wanted to, a live-in nurse or a live-in caretaker or something like that. That's always a possibility. I mean, it doesn't cost that much, The other thing over here we talked about was nursing homes. Some of you guys have asked me about nursing homes, and we did a couple of videos on that. Nursing homes over here are cheap. There's different levels of nursing homes. There's the lower levels. You kind of want to stay away from the mid levels, get a little bit better, and the mid to upper levels are like the best place to be. The upper would obviously be the best if you could afford it. But I mean, the costs vary, and you can go online and you can look at some of these places, and they have all different types of care and stuff like that. They also have assisted living over here, just like they do back in the States, and it's way cheaper over here than it is back in the States. Okay, it's just way cheaper. Just something to think about, guys. But anyway, the thing is, you really have to be aware of your health over here, or it can go down really fast. The heat sometimes has a lot to do with your health too. I mean, some people think, well, when I go to Florida, I'm going to be in the warm weather. I'll be healthier because I can get out more and stuff like that. And that's true in some cases, but but you have to remember the mosquito thing. You have the foodborne illness more so in the warmer weather. There's also you got that third world thing where sanitation is an issue, or developing country, whatever you want to call it, issue where sanitation is an issue. Things like that. There's a lot of foodborne illness here. When I first got here, the first year I was getting sick all the time. Okay? Just things to think about. And the other thing is, a lot of vegetables and food that you have back home in the States or in Australia or Europe or wherever you're coming from, okay? You need to think about this. Over here, some of those vegetables are harder to find, okay? So you might not find some of the vegetables that you like. Now, you can go to restaurants like Kenny Rogers, and you can get mixed vegetables there, and they have good potatoes and good food there, and pretty healthy foods too, and that's great. But you can't live at Kenny Rogers every night. Or maybe you can, I don't know. It's not someplace I'd want to be eating every single night, but I love Kenny Rogers food. They have really, really good food, and it's pretty healthy there too. And they have other places that have healthy food too over here. But definitely find a good supermarket when you get over here, or a good market, or a good outdoor market, or even find a farmer, if you can, that'll grow certain vegetables that you want. Ask them, say, hey, can you grow me some zucchini? Can you grow me this or that? And maybe they will, and maybe they'd be nice enough to do something like that, or grow it on your own. If you have a big enough garden in your yard, or a big enough yard to do stuff like that, do it, do it. Strawberries, you can get fresh strawberries from Baguio, fresh pineapple, fresh oranges and apples and all that stuff. You can find all that stuff over here. So it's pretty easy to stay healthy, but I would stay up on your vitamins, things like that. Also, for you guys that plan on living in the provinces, you may want to do that 81 milligrams of aspirin every day, to keep your heart, from having like a heart attack or whatever. Use stuff like that. You use whatever vitamins you can use, whatever herbs you can use to stay healthy. But like I said, a lot of guys over here, they fall into the lifestyle. They start getting caught up in that. Next thing you know, they're sick. And me, I'm trying to wean myself off of some of my habits, and I'm hoping that this thing ends pretty soon, because I really want to get out and start going, walking and things like that, and at least getting some exercise for, during my day. You know, I really enjoy like getting a little bit of walking out there so I can loosen up my legs and stuff like that. And it's kind of difficult with this ECQ, GCQ, and all that stuff because they just, you have to wear the mask, you have to wear the shield, and if you get caught without the face mask and the shield, you get fines and all that stuff, and it's crazy. I'm not going to walk outside with a mask on and a shield when it's 92 degrees outside. Just not my cup of tea. I sweat enough without a mask and a shield on to make it worse. But anyway, I just want to make you guys aware of that when you step off that plane in the Philippines, for the most part, your average lifespan just became 72. It just did. Because of the way things are over here in the Philippines. Now, can you extend that? Sure you can, definitely. But you need to really take care of yourself. You need to, what's it cost for you to go in and get some tests? You know what I'm saying? For about $20 here, you can probably get all your tests done that you need to get done, and see your doctor and get checked. And, occasionally maybe go in and get an MRI or something like that and get everything checked if you want to. Make sure you don't have any cancer or anything like that going on, and have good health insurance over here, guys. We talk about health insurance, and you guys can just watch my health insurance videos, and you can scale your health insurance according to how much money you make. Starting from the lower ones with the Pacific Cross Peso plans, you guys that have some money aside, all the way on up to the other ones, the more costly ones. And you can go get those through Pacific Prime, who gives you 10 different quotes for 10 different insurance companies. And you can just pick and choose which one you want. And just tell them you're looking for like $200,000 worth of insurance or $250,000 worth of insurance. And they'll find all the insurance companies right around that, because you don't need $1 million worth of insurance in the Philippines. You're paying for something you'll never use. You'll never use $1 million worth of insurance each year over here. Never. So you don't even think you need like some, really to be super insured over here. You really don't. Healthcare costs over here are way cheaper than in the States. I mean, you go to a doctor in here, you're going to pay about $6 to $10 for a doctor's visit. Okay, $6 to $10 to see a medical doctor. And that's a good doctor, a decent doctor. Okay, dental visits, cheap. And guys, over here you're going to find that you come down with a lot more issues, a lot of skin issues you're going to get. Most people, not everybody over here gets them, but I do notice a lot of people get like skin issues over here. So a lot of people get cellulitis, like myself, and it's hard getting rid of because I'm on my 3rd regimen of medications right now, okay, and it's just about totally gone now. It went away for a while, but it must have still been in my system just a tiny bit, and then it started coming back. So I started using Augmentin, okay, which is like, I think it's amoxicillin and something else. But anyway, my doctor put me on Augmentin for it, and I started taking that. But if you could see my legs and the scars on my legs, you'd understand why I worry about you guys coming over here, because these scars are probably never going to leave. My legs are scarred forever now, and my legs used to be flawless as far as scars and stuff like that. They were just, there was no marks on them or anything. Now I got red scars from the cellulitis all over my legs, and I just want to warn you guys that these are the issues that you're going to have over here, because you see something happening on your skin, the second you see it, go see a doctor immediately. Otherwise, it's too late. Because if you do get cellulitis or some other issue on your skin, you want to make sure that you're on top of that over here, because when you sweat over here, and my doctor told me, she says part of it over here is the sweat, is that once your skin starts getting damp, it starts getting, producing like you start making more bacteria because it's damp, it's wet, so you start getting more infections and things like that. So it's just more things to worry about, and these are the things that make you sick. The more things you have, the more it builds up in your body, and you're less likely to live long. You really want to stay healthy. You really want to stay on top of that. And I know a lot of you guys are anti-vaxxers and stuff like that, but you come over here, you really need to get a Hep B shot, and get a TB shot too, because TB over here is very prevalent. In fact, before all this stuff took place with the current virus, before all that took place, people were wearing masks on the buses because of TB. They were worried about TB. They were worried about other sicknesses that people might have, and they might breathe that in. But TB was one of the big ones, why people were wearing masks over here on the buses and on jeepneys and stuff like that. Also for pollution too. And pollution is another aspect that can cause you guys problems. It can cause you, asthma, breathing issues, things like that. If you live in a highly polluted area, those are things you're going to have to worry about, guys. And those are things that also bring down that length of living. Whereas in the United States, it's much higher. Here it's like 72. So, and like I said, most of the people that I've seen, the expats over here that I've seen, most of them have died at age 72. I've seen a whole bunch of them die at age like 68, some of them at 65. I've seen a couple of them, pass away older, it's 75, but it all balances out right to that 72 mark. If you average them all out, it's like 71, 72, 73, right in that range, so I tend to believe, from what I see and from what I've heard from others, you don't see too many expats over here that are older than 72. You see a few, very, very few, so that's why I tell people, when you consider coming over here, it's one of the things you have to consider. So when I see somebody coming over here at age 75 or something like that, it's like, wow, do I want to come over? Would I want to come over here at age 75? I don't think I would, because of the healthcare issue. I'd rather be healthy back in the United States than come over here and then have my health start falling apart and then go to a substandard hospital somewhere out in the provinces or something like that, unless you live in the city or something like that, or near a city, and you can keep up your health. I just worry about you guys coming over here, especially you older guys, and that's why I wanted to kind of have this talk. Really think about where you're going to move. That's key, guys. The place you move is going to be the place that keeps you alive if you get sick. So be near a hospital. Pick a place with a hospital. That's the best piece of advice I can recommend to you, is pick a place nearby, a decent hospital, or a place that is at least within 45 minutes to an hour away from a decent hospital, but it has hospitals nearby, and then later on you could be taken to the other hospital if you need to. But the substandard hospitals, like I said, some of them don't have defibrillators. Those defibrillators cost about $4,000 or $5,000. Okay, so some of you wealthier guys might actually think about buying a portable defibrillator around the house. Some of them they walk you through with a recording and tells you what to do. So like if you have a caretaker, you could have them trained in how to do that. There's videos out there and stuff like that on YouTube on how to use some of these defibrillators, I'm sure. But they're relatively simple. I've been trained in using a defibrillator. I know how easy they are. Because when I used to work in school safety, we had defibrillator training. So just FYI, guys, you might want to think about getting something like that. They may have cheaper ones now. Back a few years back, they were about $4,000 or $5,000 each. Maybe they're a lot cheaper now. I would hope that they are. Maybe you can get some. I'll actually try to look that up, and maybe I should do a video on that or something. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care, and just think about what I said, guys. Be careful. When you come over here, be careful. I worry about you older guys. I really do. I worry about your health. Just make sure you're near a good hospital over here. A lot of you guys are talking about, you're in your late 60s, early 70s. Unless you got primo health, I wouldn't move out to no provinces by no means, And I wouldn't think about moving to any city unless they have a decent hospital nearby. And make sure it's a good hospital. Most of the college and the teaching hospitals are the best hospitals to go to. That's why I say De La Salle University Hospital over in Das Marinas. That's a good area to stick around. So Tagaytay is good. Places like the Alabang also has some excellent hospitals, and you're still close to Manila. Okay, Tracy Materas, where I live, it's pretty easy to get to the hospitals. There's hospitals all right down the street here. There's like about 3 or 4 hospitals. So it's decent here, and then I'm close to De La Salle University if I want to go to a better hospital. And then not just that, I have all the I have like about 4 or 5 medical clinics down the street. I have probably like about 6 pharmacies down the street also. So all that stuff is close by me. And Tagaytay pretty much has all that too. I'm not sure how Tagaytay is as far as hospitals and stuff like that. I think they have some decent hospitals over there and clinics, but I'm not quite sure. I'm not really that knowledgeable about their hospitals. But I do know that they're close to Das Marinas, which isn't too far away. So you can get a ride to Dasma, go to De La Salle University Hospital, and you'll be good. But I believe they have some decent small hospitals or clinics nearby too. Anyway, guys, God bless. Take care.